Hey, Nathan here from PH Studios. Welcome to an announcement video, and I have a lot to discuss today. But first off, it's been a while since I released a tutorial, and a few reasons on that. I've been sick a few times, I've been working on the new website, and I've made a few decisions on the direction of the website. I thought about it, and I'm going to shift everything, even all the previous stuff, to monogame, and then offer a DirectX alternative, a pure DirectX alternative, whenever I get the chance. It's easy to go back and manipulate all the old stuff with monogame, since that's a open source implementation on XNA. You know, it's using C# and it's not going to require a lot of overhaul like it would be to make everything DirectX. So the primary focus on the site will be monogame and DirectX. There will be no longer be an XNA resource for the future. I'm going to get rid of everything. I'm basically going to restart the site from scratch. I'll keep the stuff on YouTube for historical purposes if you want to go back and look at, XNA 1.0, the Paddles game 1.0 that we did. But I'm going to go back, all the previous games we did. Let's open up the actual site here. So the actual games we did before and all the tutorials we did before, I'm redoing those in monogame. I'm going to upgrade those. Since we have a better understanding, I'm going to keep the old XNA style around for historical purposes. And for those of you that just want to go back and see how far we progressed and things like that, it'll still be around on the YouTube channel. I'm going to keep those up, but I'm going to remove them from the site. That way people won't get confused. When they look at it in 2017 and they say, well, this video needs XNA 1.0 and Visual Studio 2005. It's going to be a lot more difficult to get that in the future. So everything from now on will be Visual Studio 2013 monogame and Visual Studio 2013 and DirectX 9, and then we'll go on to DirectX 10, 11, 12 later on. Visual Studio 2013 is free. You can get the community version. It's free for teams under 5 people, or free for open source projects, free for nonprofit organization. Just look at the license agreement and make sure you fit the requirements. You will have to sign up with your email address, and then it gives you a product key, I think. And then you will need to sign in. I have the community edition because I'm just one developer. Yeah, you'll need to sign into the IDE. You see it has my name up here. You'll just need to sign in with that. I think it gives you 30 days. When I launched it a few weeks ago, it said my license has expired. So you just have to register it with your email address and stuff like that. Provide your name, address, zip code, things like that. It will not make you pay for it since it's free, but you have to do all the other stuff other than pay for it. Fill out your profile, things like that. Alright, so that's the community edition. Everything will be, all these projects and solutions, all my tutorials will be in the community edition. I'm gonna make a new Paddles 2.0 tutorial, new Space Shooter 2.0 tutorial, and a new Tower Defense 2.0 tutorial. And those will be monogame. Those will be an enhancement of what we've done before. They're going to be a lot more complex. Let's see if I have a screenshot here on it. Let me bring this up. Let's see. Let's go to my pictures here. Paddles 2.0. Let's look up Photoshop. As you see here on the site, let me bring up the Paddles page. That was Paddles 1.0. And there is a 4.0, and that's just the Visual Studio 4.0. That's a little confusing, but the actual game 2.0 is going to be that. It's going to be a lot better looking. We're going with flat style to fit with the website, but it's going to be a lot better looking, and it's going to be monogame. So I'm not just going to port these to monogame and make a new tutorial on it. I'm going to do some enhancements, kind of make it better than what it was. We're going to build off the tower defense and then go back to the paddles and do everything from that way. Tutorials here, I'm going to keep these, like I said, in the YouTube channel. You can go back and see those in the YouTube channel. But the site is basically going to be a start from scratch. The site will not have XNA. We might mention XNA, and we might, if I need to, I might mention an older project file that was in XNA. But the primary resource will be Monogame, Visual Studio 2013, and Monogame, or Visual Studio 2013 and DirectX 9 Plus. All these tutorials, the flocking artificial intelligence, those will be redone as well. There's a few enhancements I'd like to make. The concept videos might stay the same, but the algorithms and the actual implementation will probably change. So I'll save the concept videos, and the implementation will be different since it will be using Monogame. That I'll probably add that to the flocking series since that was very recent. I might just add a flocking AI cohesion implementation monogame, for example. So there's going to be cohesion implementation for XNA and cohesion implementation for monogame. And it's going to be titled monogame. It's going to be using Visual Studio 2013 monogame. It's going to be using some of the enhancements that we're bringing from all the previous versions and stuff like that. Another thing I'm working on is the 2D game library. All the new games, all the monogame developments that I will be making will be using a 2D game library that I'll be creating and extending on every game release and anytime I want to add new features. So I'm going to create a 2D game library that anybody can download, and all the tutorials and all the games I will be using that game library. Now, if there's a specific tutorial, specific concept like the XNA C# Quick Tips or the XNA Basics, I will not use my game library. If there's a specific thing I want to discuss, like how to create a inventory system, I won't be using the game library. I'll just be discussing that concept in general. But for big things like the Paddles game, Space Shooter, Tower Defense game, those series, they will be using the 2D game library, and I will create a tutorial on the 2D game library as a whole to discuss how to create a 2D game library. So lots of things are going to be different. We're going to be using a 2D game library. I'll be releasing a 2D game library for everybody to use in their projects. And I'll be releasing a tutorial on how to use it and how to make your own 2D game library. So the only series that will survive on the site, you can still go to the YouTube channel to see all the previous stuff. But on the site, the only one that will survive will be actually two of them, the Flocking AI series and the DirectX series. Since those are the two most recent ones. And the Flocking AI series includes concepts that it doesn't matter what language you're using. If you're using DirectX or a Python game library, you can take the concepts and create it in the Python or DirectX and use that. So the concepts will stay the same. So that's why I'm keeping the flocking AI around, even though we'll have an XNA implementation in the series. And the DirectX series is just around because it's the most recent and it's where the site's going to be headed to anyway. So the site will no longer be XNA focused. It will be monogame and DirectX focused. And I'm labeling the the library project PGL2D. And so it's PGL2D, PH Studios Game Library 2D for a 2D library. And then I might work on a 3D library in the future. 3D is not really my primary focus. So maybe later on I'll work on a 3D game system and game library as well. But stay tuned for that. It's going to be PGL2D. Stay tuned for news about that. Anything I will release major, like as in game-wise, will be using that. Any tutorials that are more complex than the usual tutorials, I will use that. Alright, so that is the announcement so far on where the site is headed. I think the 2D library will really help out. It's going to do a lot of the heavy work for us and all these game developments. The paddles, the space shooter, and the tower defense. Those are going to be a lot more easier once we have the library to use. Alright, so let's talk about the site design, the new site design. So that should be up soon. I've been working on it. And this is a live preview. It's in the projects. If you want to go to this URL, just be sure to watch the URL because these are all live sites in progress. I update regularly so I can see how it works on the web. So this is the main page. I don't have any of these links activated yet, so you can't click on anything. You can click on these. These will just take you to the actual same page. It just adds that, so it doesn't take you to a different page yet. And then these aren't links yet either. It's just a view on what the page should look like. So that is that. That's how it looks at 1080p. And if I shrink this down, it changes to be a responsive style. So you can play around with that. If you have a modern browser, that is. If you're on an older browser, it won't do that. It uses the CSS3 media queries, so it needs a more up-to-date browser. So this will be the home page where you can click videos and it will take you to the videos page. If you click games, it'll take you to the games page. And if you click forums, the forums aren't going to be changed. And then each one of these you can click and it'll take you to their respective series page, and it will take you to that tutorial. These will take you to a projects page where I discuss more in depth on that. So that will be the home page. It will just, very basic, here's the latest stuff. And here's a menu. You can go to videos, games, forums. Alright, here's the series page where, the flocking artificial intelligence series. That will be this page. It will display the name, a short description, and longer description. And if the series as a whole has dependencies, if I make a series that requires the PGL2D library, it will be here. Now, if a video requires, if I use a sprite, if I make a sprite for tutorial 2, it will be listed here. Download sprite A, for example. So these are clickable resource links, and this will be the title. You'll click the title, and a video overlay will show a description of what the tutorial is. These are the tutorials for the series. If there are no resources, it will just look like this. So I'll just need to add the title to the rest of these, but that's very basic how to look. So that's the series page where it will display the name, the short description, a long description, any resources that you need to work on the series if you need a specific DirectX version, or if you need a specific Visual Studio version. I'll link you to the page where you can download that. Like if you need Visual Studio 2013, I'll link you to the Community Edition if you don't already have it, so that way you can view it and see if you want to download it. Or if the series as a whole requires a sprite package, that will be here, but if a single tutorial needs one. For example, a generic monogame series, I'll discuss a inventory system. I'll discuss a movement, how to move your character, just like the XNA Basic series. I'll discuss very basic concepts, but the whole series will contain all those tutorials. So for tutorial 5, when I discuss how to create an inventory system, I might have resources for a inventory sprite package that you might need to work on the tutorials. So that will be a resource link here. And if you have any ideas, any suggestions, let me know. My goal is to make this a flat design. You know how most websites these days are going. A flat design. Here's the content. No distracting images. Nothing. There will be no ads on here. I'm not planning to put any ads on here. So what you see is just a flat, here's the stuff. It's a lot nicer looking than this. And it's a lot nicer looking than the first version of my responsive design. This was just, I thought this looked good at the time, but when I came back to look at it, I didn't like it. It was too much. So that is the whole idea behind this site design, is that it's flat. Here's the content. Alright, so that is the series page. Now this is the videos page where it will list each series name. Then you can click that and it will take you to, if you click on, let's do C++. If you click on C++, it will take you to the series page where it will say C++. This is the tutorial to discuss basic concepts of C++ programming language, for example. Then long description here. And then you'll need C++, you'll need Visual Studio 2013 to work on this series, blah, blah, blah. And then a resource link here will be Visual Studio 2013 Community Edition, Microsoft page, and you'll click that. Alright, so the game page, that one's in development. So far I've only worked on the videos. So the game page, that's going to be, if I go to pages here, so game, if I open the paddles 2.0, the flat paddles here, if I bring up that game, it will display XNA or monogame, or just flat panels for the game name, flat paddles. And then a short description will be a Pawn clone with monogame and DirectX versions, for example. And then instead of a screenshot, it's going to actually have gameplay. But for now, I'm still working on it. Right now I just have the design made in Photoshop. So for this test case, all I have is the announcement intro that I have. The new flat intro for my videos. So that's it for that page for now, because I don't have gameplay footage yet. So instead of having just a screenshot, it's going to have a video that you can watch to see the gameplay. And then all this stuff under it is what I'm working on now. These are the resources for the game that will look like it does here. Resources. and that will be another section after the video. So that is the new site design. Let me know if you have any suggestions or questions. It will be up shortly. All I have to do is get this page done and finish the database changes for the game table and the game resource table and the game features table. And after that, it should be ready to go. And I will keep the old tutorials on YouTube for legacy and historical purposes. If you want to go back and see those, you might learn a thing or two from those, but things are going to change when I use the new 2D library. You know, you won't have to learn all the stuff you had to learn in the previous videos, since the 2D game library will do most of the heavy lifting. So the next time a tutorial will be out will be when the site's done in a few weeks. Then I will release some DirectX tutorials, and then I will get back to work on the Flat Paddles game, and I will do an introduction to Monogame. There will be a Monogame series. So this includes Let's Plays like Minecraft. This whole videos thing will include every possible video series that we will provide. So the podcast will be there. That'll include the announcements, the Minecraft Let's Plays. XNA will be going away. C#, that will remain because that works with Monogame, so I'll still be discussing C# features. One of those things that I will be focusing on is LINQ. That might be one of the next few tutorials coming out. LINQ, Language Integrated Query. Artificial Intelligence series, that's going to stay. I'm going to redo those with Monogame and my 2D game library in some cases, if it's a more complex artificial intelligence system. Otherwise, it will be a contained sample. And I might work on a PGL AI, a artificial intelligence library that you can use. That might be something cool too. Alright, so let me know what you think. Tutorials will be out soon. Video will be out, or the site will be out soon. This will be out, it's Sunday now. I'll probably render it tonight and then publish it tomorrow. So, just let me know what you think of the design, any suggestions, changes. I want to keep it flat. I want to keep it simple. And I think this looks amazing for what I want to focus on. Flat, simple, you know, there's not, you know where to go. There's not much distracting areas that you can get caught up on. Not like the forums here. Announcements, sneak peek, website design. Not like this one where it was just, you have a lot of stuff to click and it just wasn't very good. And the videos, I am using a service from FlowPlayer to host the gameplay footage, and they lowered the quality a little bit. But for gameplay footage, you might not notice it. You might notice it on here that it's a little low quality for an introduction video that I would hope for, but that might not matter too much in the actual video itself. So the old video style, let's go back to homepage, pages here. So this is the old style. That was the old intro video. and this is the new intro video. Just to make things consistent with the site, that is a flat introduction, flat style, cool animation. The site's flat, very simple. I just wanted to make an introduction video that fits that description. As much as I love this introduction, I don't think it will fit well with the new site design. I might keep it around for some things, and I'll provide the project file that you can download. It does use third-party plugins. It's from After Effects, the project is, but it uses third-party plugins from Video Copilot. It uses their Element 3D, the version 1. They recently announced version 2, which I don't have. It uses that. It uses Trapcode Particular for the particle system. It uses Video Copilot optical flares for the flares that you saw here, the flare here. It uses optical flares. It uses some, I think this is the font that was included, which is, I can't think of the name. Typograph Pro is what the name was. So it uses a lot of third-party stuff, but I will probably release the project file anyway, if you want to take a look at it. And it uses sound from Video Copilot to do the spin sound. Let's see, is that full? Let me turn up the volume a little bit. That sound. It uses that from Video Copilot as well. So I have a lot of Video Copilot stuff that I use, and I didn't use any of it for that. I just used a simple circle. I made a simple outline for that circle and dashed that outline, and I did the flip animation, and it's very simple. But I like that. In a way, I like that a lot better than this introduction. But in some ways, I like this introduction a lot better than that one. But that one fits the new site design, and it fits with the new style. So that's why I made that. And I like the animation on this one. And I like how it reversed it. That was a cool thing that I just thought of at the last minute, to reverse it and go back to the very beginning. Alright, so a lot of stuff will be different. Let me know your thoughts, suggestions, concerns. Do you want me to keep legacy stuff on the site? Just mark it as XNA, mark it as legacy. Let me know. Put your feedback. That's a simple thing I can do. I already have the SQL scripts ready for legacy stuff. Just recently I decided to just drop XNA completely on the site. But if you want those on the site for legacy purposes, just let me know. And I'm still a little sick, so I apologize if I was a little difficult to understand at a few times. Stuffy nose, I can't really speak clearly all the time. So the whole idea behind the site was to have it very easily maintainable. By connecting it, I'm actually going to have a database now. The old site, this site, it got outdated fast because everything was pure HTML. I manually wrote down and manually typed in everything. I copied and pasted the styles for every page. Every page is separate, and that just got ridiculous. This thing will be using a database, so all I have to do is make a new series, and it will pop up here. Just add a new series to the database table, and it will pop up here. I don't need to modify this page. It connects to the database. So I already made the SQL scripts, so all you have to do is say yes or no if you want the legacy stuff on here. It does not make any difference at all. it won't require days of work for me to add the legacy stuff on here. So just let me know. I might need to add a column in the series table to say if it's legacy or not. That way you get some visual cue on here. You know, it might say in parentheses legacy or outdated or something like that. Or I might make it a red style if it's legacy. Or it might look better as a gray style. You know, red might be out of place on this page. I'll have to look at the design on that. So put that in the comments or post it on the forums, your thoughts on that. And that is it for this video. Hopefully I get through. This has been a bad winter. I've been sick, stuffy nose, sore throat, headache. I've had bronchitis a couple times. I'm very stubborn, so I don't go to the doctor and get medicine. But hopefully winter's going to be done soon. And hopefully things will be better and I can do a lot of tutorials for you guys. And we'll be using the PGL2D and a lot of stuff. I will release versions of that as I progress. Right now, it's very early stages. I'm building it as I work on the flat paddles. So version 1.0 is going to be what we use for flat paddles. And then I will extend upon it as I need to. Or as I think of something that might be included. Alright, so that is it for this video. Stay tuned for the redesign, and the forums, as I said, will stay the same. I will probably make a different style whenever I update the forums to 4.0, whenever they release that. It's in release candidate now, so whenever they release 4.0, you know, you always need to change the skin every time they release a major update. So I'll probably work on a flat skin, even though this is pretty flat. But I want to get rid of this gradient and kind of clean things up a little bit. Alright, thanks for listening. My nose is getting a lot stuffy, so I'm going to stop here.